Hey guys, I'm Heidi with Heavenly Minded Home, and today we are going to talk about our minimalist and Christ-focused Hanukkah.
Tonight is the night, sunset, twilight, head back, come along, take flight.
So glad you guys are here to join us. I think most of you have probably been around our channel for a while, but then I know these types of videos always get a lot of new people coming on over, so hello and welcome. Kind of talking about the holidays and how our family goes about this is something that we talk about quite frequently, especially here lately. It's always when we come into this kind of traditional holiday season that the topic comes up a lot. We've shared quite a few podcasts and some other videos. These are all on a playlist, so down below in the description box you guys can go and access all of that. Again, I understand that it is a very touchy subject that people can get very worked up over, and that is not my intent whatsoever to push any buttons or get anyone worked up. The recent podcast, I pray that our heart has been heard on those as we really talk about the importance of this, especially in this Christmas season. Our family, we completely stopped celebrating Christmas years ago, and then a while after that we started enjoying Hanukkah, and that's what we are going to talk about here today. So I have other videos that I've done on Hanukkah. I've kind of vlogged through our Hanukkah celebrations. Again, they're all on that playlist down there, so if you'd like to know more, please go down there and check those out. But I'm going to go ahead and do it and show you what we are doing this year for our 2020 Hanukkah. I want to say first and foremost that these things are not required, of course, at all. Hanukkah is not even one of the 7 holy days. Scripture gives 7 special holy days, not holidays, but holy days, celebrated in the spring and the fall seasons. Hanukkah is not one of those 7 commanded feast days that God gave to the Hebrew people in the Old Testament. Hanukkah and Purim are 2 kind of additional days that are more so events of remembrance. Hanukkah being the remembrance of the time of the rededication. So no, they are not commanded holy days or anything like that, but they are days of remembrance, and we even see Christ himself at the Feast of Dedication, the Hanukkah celebration, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So I am not, my family, we are not Torah observant, we're not Hebrew roots, anything like that. Those things can become incredibly heretical, and no, absolutely do we claim to be anything like that. But I think especially if you've listened to our recent podcasts, again, it's this really big issue that really started bothering us, especially over the past, 5 or so years, going, wait a second, Christ came as the Messiah to the Jewish people. So as followers of Christ, it's not that we become Christians, right? He didn't come to create a new religion, but he came as the fulfillment, the promise to the Jewish people, and he's returning again for them. So just remembering that we are now adopted children into this, the God of Israel, right? We are now adopted into that family. So I think we do ourselves a great disservice by not knowing anything about the family in which we've been adopted by. I think that's a really big part of it. And again, for me, that's where when it comes into Christmas, especially, not only is it filled with just idolatry and kind of nonsense, but it is very, very anti-Semitic at its roots, which was something that really bothered us. So that's my little intro part. Now let's get into what we're doing for Hanukkah and answering more of your guys' questions. So I asked you guys, to share some questions, and we get questions about the holy days and things like Hanukkah and stuff all of the time from you all. Love your questions. Please feel free to send them anytime. If we have to do more follow-up videos, we can do that. I'm happy to share. I know we haven't been vlogging very much lately, so I'm not sure exactly how much we're going to share this year. We've kind of been enjoying more of a laid-back approach kind of with our family, but let's go ahead and dive into some of your questions. So I'm going to share with you guys the 8 main traditions that our family has enjoyed celebrating and just really looking forward to getting to do during the Hanukkah kind of season. Remember, Hanukkah, just like any of the other biblical days, it changes. It's not, the 25th of December every single year. The Hebrew calendar follows a lunar cycle. So every year things do adjust depending on the moon cycles throughout the year. And so this year, Hanukkah is a little bit earlier. Last year, Hanukkah actually coincided with Christmas week, but this year, Hanukkah is actually getting ready to start here a little bit earlier this month. Disclaimer as well, no, Hanukkah is not the Jewish Christmas. So if we have any misconceptions, I usually share a little bit of info because I know a lot of people kind of lump it together, but it has nothing to do with Christmas. So just to make sure that we're clear on that. But Hanukkah this year, it is an 8-night festival, and it starts at sundown on December 10th this year, 2020, which is really super exciting because December 10th is my birthday. So we get to have like my birthday and first night of Hanukkah all rolled up into one, which I'm actually really excited for. I think that'll be a fun little celebration. But it starts sundown of December 10th this year, and then obviously goes through the 18th. So December 10th is the first night, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and then the 17th is the last night. But of course, since it goes from sundown to sundown, that day of the 18th would be the last day that everything kind of wraps up. So that is when Hanukkah is this year. The first way that we kind of, I guess, get into the Hanukkah spirit of things, or whatever you want to say, one of the first traditions that our family really likes to do is that of just retelling the story of Hanukkah. I've shared information resources below. I will link some down below as well. But the story of Hanukkah. So this is that time, and it's been really interesting because my husband, in his church, he's been teaching through just Matthew. We're kind of at the end of Matthew right now, and kind of going through all of that, but talking about the importance of this, you know, every time the temple's been taken over and the Jews have been exiled and things of that nature. And that brings us into this time of Hanukkah. So that is when, you know, you've probably heard of the Maccabees and Antiochus Epiphanes. He comes in, the temple's desecrated, the Jews are kicked out of doing everything that, you know, they are to do to follow the Lord their God. And they stand up, and Judas Maccabeus, you know, they go and they revolt and they get the temple back, and that's the whole big, you know, miracle story that they only had enough holy oil to burn in the temple for one night, but through this miracle, you know, it lasted for 8 nights until they were able to get more oil, is like the traditional Hanukkah story. We like to tell, you know, that story, not only looking at that and what happened, but fast forward, also looking at where we see Christ during Hanukkah. That's where you can see, if you go to John chapter 10, and you see him at this, you know, the festival of lights and this time of this dedication, and they ask him again, and he goes, you guys, I'm the Messiah. You know, that's where we see him again confirming his messiahhood to the people. He is the light, right? The light of lights. Everything points to him, is fulfilled by him. And so we see him doing that there again. So not only do we kind of talk about all of this stuff throughout our week of Hanukkah, but the most important part of the entire gospel message, that he's coming again soon. We know a third temple will be built in Jerusalem. It will be the Antichrist temple, right? He's coming to fool the Jews and to fool the entire world, and a small remnant will realize what's going on. They will flee. God will protect them. They will proclaim to all of the peoples that are left, you know, and all of these things. And so we talk about all of this stuff. We talk about all of that and how the temple will be desecrated again, just like it has been before. We'll talk about how the Antichrist will stand. He will do these horrible things, right? All of this stuff happens. And then what comes and truly fixes everything and puts it all together and puts it in its rightful place? The Messiah, Jesus. That's what we were all looking for. So kind of talking about all of these things and seeing Christ's return woven so strongly throughout the Hanukkah story is something that is on our family's mind, not only every single day, but especially during this Hanukkah time, as we talk about this festival of lights and we discuss these things and we look for Christ coming in everything that we do. So that is our point number one, the biggest point of all of this that we look forward to in this Hanukkah celebration. The second point would be simple decor. Yes, I put up a few fun little things. I usually kind of switch up some stuff seasonally through our home. Yes, we are very minimal. Minimalism can look different from every family, so it doesn't have to look like my house, and maybe yours looks even more. It doesn't matter. But it's not about the stuff. We don't want to, quit celebrating something like Christmas because we see the idolatry in it, just to switch our idolatry to a different activity. So it's not about that, but there is something fun, I find, every season about kind of switching up just a few little things. Most of the stuff that I have is either a little bit of tinsel and lights from Dollar Tree that I've had for the past, I don't even know how many years, and then a couple little fun things that either I've gotten on clearance or friends have gotten me from actually the Target line for their Hanukkah goodies. Target, I found, has some of the best little Hanukkah stuff. They actually have new stuff this year, and I found about $100 worth of stuff that I thought was so cute and I totally wanted to get, but then I had to remind myself that, one, I don't have $100 to spend on something I don't need, and two, what I have works fine and I don't need to get all wrapped up. But Target does have some really cute stuff, so I have a couple, fun little things that I've gotten from there. I would like to, at Dollar Tree, pick up a couple extra little tinsels just to add around. We usually do some like silvers and golds within our blues of the Hanukkah decor. Again, just a few simple little things. Everything that I have for all of my seasons fits in one crate. I have one crate that holds all of my seasonal decor for the entire year. That's all I have. And so I pull out, it comes up in one armful. I've got our few little different things, our Hanukkah menorah, and a couple little things that we pull out. And again, it's just kind of fun with the kids and gives us kind of a festive mood. I think especially with the nights, it gets dark so much earlier. It's kind of fun. We just leave our little lights on all the time. And so I don't use a lot of overhead lighting in our house. So having the soft little blue lights glowing around the house is just really sweet, and we really enjoy it. So pulling out the little decor is something that our family looks forward to every year. Our simple decor would be our second Hanukkah tradition. The third one would be fried food. And that's kind of the big thing when it comes to Hanukkah, is the fried food. So obviously the olive oil of the lamp is kind of the whole basis of all of this celebration here, with the lights still burning. And so cooking food in oil is kind of a just staple activity in the Jewish culture when it comes to Hanukkah. So things like, donuts and the little fried potato latkes are very, very big. Lots of different fried foods. I'm really the only one in our household that would eat the latkes, so I really don't worry about making those. They're little fried potatoes. I'll put a recipe down below. They're delicious. Nobody else in my house eats them, so I usually don't even mess with it. But for us, a really big thing, I have a cool platter that I got from Target for I think $10 a couple years ago, and the first morning, so this year it will be December 11th, that morning, we have a platter of donuts that we put out. We usually do it the last morning as well, which would be the 18th, and then usually at least once or twice in between. But we go ahead and we pull out and have a full tray of donuts for our breakfast. We build a fire in our fireplace. I've got my Happy Hanukkah coffee mug, and we sit down and eat donuts and just enjoy it. It's something we look forward to all year long. Donuts are not a normal breakfast in our house, so getting to do this for Hanukkah is a really big deal. Something really simple that you could do too if you're wanting to celebrate some of Hanukkah is just, maybe once or twice or whatever, go ahead and plan to have some type of fried, meal that you want to do. Is something kind of fun. Just cooking in oil, using oil is kind of a big deal for the Hanukkah festivities. The fourth tradition that we do every year is a special meal. So a lot of the biblical holy days, starting with, Passover and through to, Feast of Trumpets and things in the fall, are special meals that we make. It's kind of like our Shabbat meal, but just even fancier, even bigger. So having a special meal to come together is really a special one that we look forward to every single year. We usually, the first night and the last night, so that would be the night of the 10th and then the night of the 17th, Usually it's the first and last night that we have like a special meal, but of course, if there's ever any time where family or friends, we can get them to want to come over and celebrate Hanukkah with us, we will have a special meal anytime anybody wants to come over as well. But for us, it doesn't have to be super fancy. It doesn't have to be super complicated. I have some vintage china that I got from thrift stores for like literally pennies a piece, but that's like our special. We pull it out for Sabbath, we pull it out for any of the holy days or special meals. We set the table nice, we set, you know, our menorahs out, and it's just something that's a little bit special. For us, we have a local grocery store, and prime ribs usually always on sale for the holidays, so that's like our big, you know, once a year I do a prime rib, and we make up some veggies and some challah bread and things of that nature. If you want to do some of your fried foods or things like that mixed in with it, and then we have a special dessert, but that's always a really special time. That's also a great time. My husband leads our family in communion, and what a perfect reminder with everything going on, you know, as we partake in that as well. So that's a really special thing that our family definitely looks forward to. And like I said, usually the first evening and the last evening are when we do that. That's usually our go-to anyways. So the fifth tradition that we definitely look forward to with Hanukkah, we do a few little gifts. So we are very minimal, very simple in what we do. I don't go all out. We don't do any of that. There's nothing that, you know, we need or anything like that. But it is kind of fun to be able to give one another a little something from time to time. So usually for Hanukkah, to make it kind of fun with the kids, is we will usually do things that we've picked up from either Dollar Tree or a thrift store, but very small little tokens that either are part of a game that we're playing or something that we're going to do together as a family, or something that they need, right? Warm fuzzy socks, a pair of gloves, you know, things like that. But I'm talking very, very simple little things that we like to do so that every evening they get a little something that we can do. Either we do a very small thing every evening, or we do like one Hanukkah gift. Was it last year or the year before? We got them a couple things that they could use for indoor play. As we're going into this winter season, they can't be outside playing as much, so we got the girls like a little teepee to put in their room and a couple things like that as like a winter gift that we let them kind of have through that. This is also a great time for family that maybe doesn't agree with your not celebrating Christmas, or they understand your decision to, you know, forego Christmas, but they still want to get the kids gifts. Anytime we've had family that still want to send in gifts to the kids, we just let them open them up throughout the Hanukkah week, and that kind of just works out for us. So those are what we do there. The sixth point would be, we have some special things that we like to watch during the Hanukkah week. Especially, like I said, it gets dark so much earlier. We're usually curled up on the couch after we've had dinner and played games. We go and we sit down on the couch together. There is an episode of Rugrats, yes, Rugrats, that I know we used to watch when I was a little kid, but there is a Hanukkah episode, and we bought just that one Hanukkah episode on Amazon Prime. I will link it down below, and our kids look forward to that all year long. They will quote it from time to time, and we watch that. My girls especially, they end up watching it at least every single night, sometimes throughout the day as well. So watching Rugrats Hanukkah is totally a tradition that we have to do every year here in our house. And then we usually will go through and watch the Bible series show again, and just things of that nature. Because again, we are talking about the kingdom, Christ's return, things like that a lot. I guess I should have put this one before the last one, but I have it written down here on my handy dandy little note card. Tradition number 7 that we love to do is, of course, play Dreidel. You can't have Hanukkah without playing Dreidel. We have little wooden dreidels, and we sit down and we play that every night. Usually the first little gift that the kids get is we get them little bags of gelt, which I haven't bought yet this year, but gelt are the little chocolate coins, and I get everyone their own bag of gelt, so that way when we play Dreidel on the first night, they can use those. The rest of the nights we usually don't have the chocolate coins. We just use like chocolate chips or some little type of little candy snack that we use as our betting coins during our Dreidel game. But we love sitting down every evening during dinner and playing games together as a family anyways. And so all week long for Hanukkah, we are playing Dreidel. When I pulled out the Decor today, my girls and my husband even came in and were practicing their Dreidel role. We are very serious about our Dreidel playing here in this house. So Dreidel is a must. It's not Hanukkah without a good game of Dreidel. So that's definitely one of the best ones that we really enjoy. But point number 8 then of our favorite things to do during Hanukkah is every night as the sun goes down and it gets dark, we light the Hanukkah menorah. So a traditional, the true menorah is a 7-branch menorah. But for Hanukkah, we get this one here that has 9 branches. So it's often referred to as a Hanukkah menorah. So that has the 9 branches. So you have the 4 branches on each side, so these are your 8 nights, and then this candle that is elevated here in the center is your shamash. This is the helper candle. So every night we go ahead and we light this, and we'll actually, while it's burning, set it up in the window so that way the light can shine out into the world, and anyone driving by can possibly see our lights shining and see that going out is kind of the fun little gesture there. So you always light the center candle, the shamash. You light this one first. This is our helper. So we light our shamash first, and then the first night you'll just have one candle right here. So when you're looking at it, this is on the right. So I light the shamash and then I light the candle to the right. Then the second night, we will have 2 candles here, right? Far right, and then the one right next to it. So I will light this one and then that. And then you add 3rd night, 4th night, and so on. And you always start from over here and then work your way across. So what we do for this is every evening, there are Jewish prayers and things like that that they pray, but this is what we do. So every evening we let the kids take a turn. So we have 4 children. The youngest is only 2, so she doesn't get to do this. I'll show you what she gets to use. But we let the 3 older kids all take a turn lighting the candles throughout Hanukkah. So we will light the shamash, and then the first night our youngest will light the first candle. Then the second night, it's our next oldest. We go youngest to oldest. And then she'll get to light this shamash, and then these 2, and then our oldest, and then he'll get his turn. And then after we have lit the candles and set them up in the window, what we do then is we let whichever child it was that got to light the candles, we let them lead the family in prayer. And we just have a time of prayer there together. We don't have any set prayer, that we make them say or anything like that. That's not about it. It's the heart of the matter and speaking to the Lord and thanking Him for this opportunity. And so that's what we do every evening as we go through and light our Hanukkah. And it's so fun to watch. That first night you just have the 2 little candles there going, and then by the end of the week you have this full Hanukkah menorah, everything's going, and we let it go until the candle's completely burnt out. We let it burn the whole time, and it's just such a beautiful process. I think we really look forward to it and enjoy kind of watching the menorah fill up with light and watching that go out. So that's a really fun, special thing that we look forward to doing. And then a friend of ours was so sweet, and she found this felt menorah. Again, it was all part of this Target line, which is kind of cool that I've had random people be like, ooh, Hanukkah, let me send you this. And then it's all part of the same thing and goes together, which is kind of cool. But it is a felt Hanukkah menorah, and then so that way our youngest, Olivia, who like I said is 2, we let her add her candles on to the menorah each evening as well. So that's kind of a fun thing that she then gets to do. We go over and watch her menorah fill up as well. So those would be the 8 things that we really look forward to, traditions that our family really enjoys throughout the Hanukkah season. Again, it's not that we have to do it. Anybody's better if they do this or whatever it may be, but it's about looking for Christ's return. And if whatever we're doing is not pointing us and focusing us on the return of Christ, then we need to reevaluate what we're doing. And so seeing all of this, looking forward to the kingdom, remembering the things that have happened kind of all throughout this is such a great opportunity to really get to look forward to that. Keeping it very simple. Guys, this takes like next to no time. It's really enjoyable because you think of something like Christmas where it's like one day and you have to, do all of the things. You have 8 days. You have 8 days of doing all of this. We kind of go about our normal business all day long and really don't do anything different. But then come evening time, we play Dreidel when we sit down and have dinner. We light our Hanukkah menorah, and we watch Rugrats at least at some point in our day. So it's really a very simple set. You know, there's nothing that you have to do. There's a couple special things that we like to do, but it's not like it's a ton of stuff that you have to try to fit in. You don't have to do any of this stuff, right? None of this is something that you absolutely have to do. But these are just the things that our family does do, and we do enjoy just getting to do these things. We look forward to them all year long. I know for our kids, they've been chomping at the bit. They're really excited. Hanukkah falls earlier in the month this year because they're ready to do all of the things. We will leave our stuff up usually all month long just because we enjoy it and, you know, let it be up. But again, nothing you have to do. It can be as simple or as, you know, complicated as you want to make it. But again, just remember the whole point of this is to always be checking our hearts against idolatry, against being focused on the things of this world, as opposed to looking forward to Christ's return and the eternal world to come. So always remember those things. I hope this can be a blessing to you. Of course, if you have any other questions, please go ahead and ask them. I've got quite a few more videos that I've been kicking around that I'd really like to get done and share with you all that I think could be a blessing to many of you. So be sure to subscribe, hit the little bell icon. Hopefully we'll have those out soon. Otherwise, we'll see you guys when we see you. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy Hanukkah.
אשר קידשנו במצויסו ציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכו ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עשה ניסים אבוינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו